there we go. And just for the purposes of the reporter, we do have 4 TAC members on: Beth Ennis, Chair, Dale Lynn, OT, Linda DeRossett, OT, and Cresta Wilson, Speech. I believe Emily is going to join, but I haven't seen her yet, and I have not heard from Renee, but they may bounce on sooner or soon. However, we do have 4 of us out of the 6, so we do have a quorum. Any corrections to, and it has to be both the May and the July minutes, because we didn't have a quorum in July to approve the May minutes. Any corrections?
Renee.
I'm sorry?
Renee just joined.
Oh, wonderful. So we've got 5 of us. Any corrections to either the May or the July minutes?
I don't see any.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay, hearing none, then we will go ahead and approve those 2 sets of minutes so that they can be posted to this website. We do have 2 carryovers on our old business with some updates. The first one is the fee schedule. We did get word from the cabinet that the fee schedule was indeed incorrect, and based on the original CMS Medicare fee schedule and not the updated one. Do we have any information from the cabinet on when those are corrected? I know they said they would retro pay, but we also don't know if the MCOs will. So if anyone has feedback on those, that would be wonderful.
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my little buttons keeps disappearing, and I don't know if you can hear me or you can't. I've got some information here from Angie Lawrence. She's out this week, but she said it depends on the contract
Parker.
the providers have with the MCOs. It says,
Okay.
The contractor shall give at least 30-day written notice to providers prior to any change in payment structure or reimbursement amount. The written notice must contain clear and detailed information about the change, and the change shall not be retroactive. So, whoops, wait a minute, it disappeared. So I think most of the MCOs, I believe, are on this morning, so you can ask them if you want.
Correct. I was wondering if the cabinet had any information on when the schedule would be corrected, or if it already is.
Right. So I have some information on that.
Thank you, Lee.
We were waiting until we had some more information and timelines in place, and now we have them. We'll be sending out a provider letter hopefully this week.
Great.
To let everybody know, and some of the mass adjustments should be starting also at the end of this week. Or wait a minute, I say the end of this week without looking at my calendar. By the 24th.
Okay.
So that's not
Okay.
this week. By the 24th. Sorry.
End of next week. Okay.
End of next week. My bad.
It's okay. We're all living in what day is it land, so I get it.
Right. And that's pretty much what I have.
Okay. We recognize that the contracts that the MCOs have say that they have 30 days, et cetera. We just didn't know if, because this was an incorrect posting of the fee schedule to start with, and it's taken us 9 months to get to this point, what any of them were willing to do about that. So I guess we'll go alphabetical and start with Aetna. Any word from Aetna on what they're planning on doing?
Hey, Beth, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, it's Sammy Asher. Yeah,
Hey,
typically, Beth, when we schedule update over from the state, we usually coincide with that effective date that they dropped. And so
Okay.
it does retro. Yeah. So in this case, this is a correction. And I'm going to say that we will retro and recognize that effective date that the state drops, but I'm going to take that back just to make sure. And I'll
I
be
appreciate
sending you
that.
over that. Yeah, I'll be sending you over that information before end of day.
Thank you so
I'll get
much.
that over. Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
We won't make any announcements to our member associations until we have official written word, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anthem?
Thank you.
Anyone from Anthem?
Hi, this is Holly with Anthem, and
Hi, Holly.
hello. I'll need to take that back and just make sure that I give you the correct information, and then we'll send it over to Charlie.
Okay, I appreciate that. My brain is not working. Humana. I'm trying to go alphabetical and I don't have a list in front of me and the alphabet is not coming quickly. Humana.
Good morning. This is Guy with Humana Medicaid. How are
Good
you
morning.
doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing very good, thank you.
Awesome.
I just wanted to check now, just to make sure. This is the PT and OT fee schedules that we're speaking to?
PTOT speech, correct.
Okay, all right. And again, I will go ahead and take that back also, and just to get verification and confirmation on how we would be handling that, and I will report back.
Terrific. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Molina Passport.
Good morning. This is Crystal Roper. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. How is everyone today?
We are living the dream. How are you?
Absolutely. Me too. No, I am probably the same as everyone. I'm going to
That's fine.
take this on back that all three of them are going to be changing, and just to confirm, and I will
Okay.
report that to you guys as well.
I appreciate it. WellCare.
Hey, this is Jay Mingus with WellCare, and same as the others, I will be taking it back as well and get back with you all as soon as possible.
No worries. I appreciate that. Did I miss anybody?
Hey, Beth.
United Healthcare.
United. Sorry. United. Didn't mean to ignore you. I thought there were 6 and I just lost it. Anybody from United?
Good morning. This is Suzanne Lewis from United, and
Good
I
morning.
have several of my team members on here, but I think we're going to have to do the same as others. We'll need to take this back and confirm what our process would be, and then we can communicate that back to you guys. Did I hear somebody say that we should tell Charlie who, like, is that who we report back to?
You can communicate it to Charlie. If anybody has my email, feel free to copy me. Otherwise, Charlie can forward it to me.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, Beth, can we ask?
Yes.
Can we ask for a date to have these back versus waiting another 2 months?
Most of them are saying by the end of business today, they're going to let us know.
Okay, and then this will be rolled out to. We can get this out to our state association.
Once we have it confirmed, yeah, we'll roll it out. I would also ask that if there is going to be any process, if things need to be resubmitted in any way or anything like that, if that could be addressed in those memos as well, just so that we can let our members know what they need to do, versus the companies going back and just kind of looking at what's been billed and balance billing. So if there's going to be any process for that, please let us know. Okay. We sent the administrative burden document that we've been collecting. I don't remember if we sent it in May or in July, and hadn't gotten feedback on some of the concerns. And I think the main issue is that we just keep spinning in circles. We work through a process with an MCO and then another one pops up, and it's just a constant thing. The latest one that just came through, and I got to go to the bottom of my document here, relates to just length of authorization limits and difficulties with the requirement of getting assigned plan of care from the ordering physician. It's taking forever to get those back. It's taking a long time to get processes going. And then by the time we get them going, it's time to recert again. Is there any feedback that the cabinet has on that document? And maybe suggestions on ways that might be a better way to work these processes, because we just keep feeling like we're on the hamster wheel.
Okay, so I've got, again, a response here written from Angie. Sorry.
No worries.
And she says that we need, really and truly, we need some examples of what you're talking about in these, that generalize. The TAC is to come here and give generalized statements. We can't go back to the MCOs and track these down and see what or what's going on and why these things are happening without some examples to give to them. And also, I'll put in there's a document if you want a complaint form that you can utilize, and there's a complaint process on MCOs. So I've just copied the link to that. So if you want to give us some examples, we can go back. I mean, is this something, just 2 or 3 times it's happened, or is it happening all the time? We need to be able to look to see what's going on.
Yeah, if people are putting things on this document, it's an ongoing issue.
Then we need some.
It wasn't a one-time thing. So, and they've been trying to work through. And I guess our concern is, we're continuing to try and work these through with each of the MCOs. It just continues to happen. If we solve one thing, something else comes up. And so I guess
Have you talked to the MCOs and gone through them and their appeal process and so forth?
Yes.
Then I would use a complaint form, and because I think that gives specific, you can list, I believe when I looked at that before, you can list specific examples of what's happening.
I guess the concern is more, we work through something, we resolve it, another issue comes up, we work through that, we resolve it. But it's a tremendous amount of time and effort, not only on our administrative staff, but on our clinicians, that they can't then be treating patients. And so more of a 30,000 foot view, and maybe we just as a TAC need to brainstorm some recommendations for that, because as low as rates are, we can't spend non-billable time 8 hours a day dealing with this stuff.
Or just out of curiosity, are you having issues with just the Medicaid MCOs, or are there, I mean, I can't imagine that other insurance companies.
Well, Medicare is its own animal, but their processes seem to be fairly stable and straightforward. It's not a moving target. Yes, we are seeing this with our commercial insurance as well. And we're also trying to deal with the administrative burden on that side. And we may be going at it legislatively soon because nothing else seems to be working. I will say that I'm very thankful that most of our MCOs are not using utilization management folks for pre-auth, like Anthem is not using AIM in the Medicaid product here in Kentucky. And I'm very appreciative of that because it's a giant disaster everywhere else. So we are thankful for some of the things that they are not using that we're battling on the commercial side, but there's still a lot of other things that we're working through. And yes, it is on the commercial side too. We are attacking it on the commercial side too. And again, we might be looking at a legislative fix. But for now, we're just looking for any help from the cabinet. So I think we'll try to brainstorm as a TAC some thoughts on that with our constituent members and see what we can do. Under new business, I did have one question that came up because I got a comment from a member that there were some challenges with traditional Medicaid in addition to some of the MCOs as far as a 13-week limit. And for an initial plan of care. And I thought, and unless this, I would like to know if this has changed, that the traditional Medicaid did not require pre-cert for the first 20 visits. Am I correct or incorrect?
You're correct.
Okay.
We don't require an authorization for the first 20 visits.
Okay. So I will make sure that that information gets out there. I'm going to throw out to my TAC members because there also seems to be some challenges getting plan of care signed by physicians. Have any of you come up with strategies for that that we can share with members that might speed up the process? Because that seems to be a hang up too.
Physically go to their office and stand there until they sign it. I'm kidding. Sometimes it feels like that's as far as you have to go.
Yeah.
Beth, I wish I was kidding, but I have had to do that on a few of my wound care patients in order to get them authorized and moved forward in a timely manner from a standpoint of just the urgency of the wound.
I've hand delivered also.
You know, we've hand delivered also, but typically we get a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Can you make friends,
Again,
manager?
I mean, again, this is something that we shouldn't have to be doing. It looks like we have a member that's having the same issue, having to hand deliver to have a physician sign it.
Hey, we've had a few doctors who said they refuse to send us patients because nobody else makes them sign a plan of care. I'm sure you guys have heard that too, but
Definitely.
they just say, you know, there's other offices that don't require. I'm like, well, no, everybody requires it, but
For Medicaid, everybody does, but for commercial products, they don't.
yeah, it's very frustrating and it's very time burdensome for sure for everyone.
So
Dr.
that's something,
Terry, I'm
you
sorry,
know,
Lee, go ahead.
I apologize for just jumping in here, but
No, please.
it's interesting to hear that nobody else requires a physician signature on a plan of care. So, you know, perhaps that would be one of those things that you could send to us or that you can make a recommendation about and we could take a look at reviewing. You know, we can review that and see what other states do, drill down and make sure that that requirement is or is not embedded in federal regulations for Medicare and Medicaid. So, you know, you could think about that as one of those things that might be something it's a process issue.
Yeah.
So process issues from my perspective are always something that we're happy to take a look at if we possibly can.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
I think it comes from the Medicare side. I know there is a requirement at certain points in the plan of care for Medicare that it is required. I haven't looked at the regs, the federal regs for Medicaid to see if that's actually in the legislation or if that's something that we just pulled from the Medicare side.
I think that's a great idea because the doctors think they sent the patient to therapy.
Exactly.
By signing their name and then they're not therapists. So they don't understand why they have to sign the plan of care because
exactly
therapists. So it's
exactly
catch-22.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Terry. It sure is.
So if you got a pain in the butt doctor, they're just not going to sign it.
Exactly. And we love them dearly, but it's frustrating. So we will work on bringing that forward. And I think I can do some pulling in the next few days to have that ready for the September meeting if we want to make that a recommendation to look at that process.
You mean
any of the September MAC meeting?
Oh, I was like, Beth, it's September.
I know.
You lost me. I'm with you now. I'm with you.
Okay. No, it's all good.
I have a question. I know some of the
Yes.
states have received some of the federal money for COVID, and with some of the changes, the increased burdensome it's costing on providers, there are certain fee schedules that were being increased. Is therapy potentially going to be one for 2022 because of the increased cost that it's costing us to, keep our doors open. Especially with mandate of potentially having to test. If you have so many employees, you have to keep them tested if they're not vaccinated and my other question was, is Medicaid going to make it mandated that any provider be vaccinated? Do we have?
I'm going to throw those back to the cabinet, and we may have to wait on an answer for them, but I'm going to just throw it out there and see what they say.
This is Lee again.
Yes, ma'am.
The mandate, we heard the mandate the same as most of you all through the President Biden's speech. That is a federal mandate. There's no, as far as I understand how the Constitution works, there's no way that we can say no if the federal government has said yes. So, but we haven't received any guidance on implementation or anything like that. And when I just said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know of any way we can say no. That's Lee Guy speaking. That it's not Medicaid.
Right.
So I apologize actually for even saying that out loud. But we haven't heard anything else on that. I imagine that CMS will issue some guidance, and when they do, we'll let you all know.
Okay.
I don't know, Renee, if you could, you were talking about some increased funding.
I think it was CARES Act money.
I'm not aware that we are on track to have any CARES Act money to raise rates. So just so you know that if you have a question you want to ask about that, please put it in the minutes and we can take a look at it.
Thank you.
Beth, this is Charlotte.
Yes.
again. Just
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
clarify something. Did you say you would work on a recommendation to the September MAC in the next few days?
No, I would just gather the background, but I think we can make the recommendation that we look at the process for physician signature on plan of care as burdensome.
Okay, because you have to do your wording of your recommendation and let the TAC members.
Today. Yep, we're going to do that at the end.
Okay.
Any other issues from my TAC members?
I don't have any.
There was
I
one.
know we,
Yeah,
go ahead, Linda.
There was one question. The girl that does our pre-authorization, she was asking about the NIA website, and she said something about she tried to launch different meetings and it didn't go through, and she was wondering about dates. Does that make sense?
Not to me.
I think it's something that WellCare, the way they were changing things. So they were,
so NIA, WellCare, you can speak up if I'm incorrect in this, but I got a thing from WellCare that they were postponing that implementation.
That is correct. This is Jay with WellCare. That we are, that was to go live 9/1. Right now, it is delayed until further notice. We will get an update out when we know more. So you can continue your regular course of action, which I believe will be going through Epicor for your authorizations.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee this morning, Linda, for my brain to kick in. And any other issues from TAC members? I know we have a few community members on as well. All right, then I'm going to proceed to the recommendation to the MAC. My thought on the wording is that the TAC recommends to the MAC that the cabinet evaluate the process of having physicians sign off on the plan of care as a burdensome component that is making access difficult to our patients. How does that sound? Any wordsmithing?
Sounds good to me.
Now, Beth, are you talking about any type of physician's signature on it? Or are you just talking about the physician's signature prior to receiving prior authorization?
The physician signature prior to receiving prior auth.
Okay.
That seems to be the one that is the challenging piece, is having them sign off on the plan of care before we can get approved to see the patient.
Okay, because I was just, with the wording, I didn't know whether you're talking about trying to do away with it completely or just prior to prior authorization. We may need to put that in there, just see
Okay.
what the thoughts are.
Okay, during the prior authorization process, how's that? Add that to the end or something.
What does everybody else think about that? I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good idea to add that. That would be,
Okay. Specific.
yeah.
Any other wordsmithing? So because we're on Zoom, I'm going to do it this way. If anyone is not in favor of having that be a recommendation, go ahead and speak up from my TAC members. So hearing no voices, we are voting to approve that as a recommendation to the September MAC. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone being on here. Please continue to send any issues to us, and we will try to work on the other administrative burden components as we go. I will take that one to the MAC in September, and we will go from there. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being on here.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks, Ed.
yeah.
Have a good day.
Stay safe. Have a great day.